found something pretty interesting that about a year ago in May, April of 2024, LinkedIn rolled out these games and they rolled out, 3 games pretty quietly, fine. And, over time, I've noticed that it kind of has dropped into advertising, hey, play these games, stay in touch through these daily games. And on the surface, this is very clearly like them trying to keep up with folks like the New York Times that make an absurd amount of money from their games, and the daily spelling bee crossword forever has been there. And so LinkedIn's like, yeah, sure, but here's the difference. And I don't know if this is just something that, I'm weird, it bugs me, but I think there's a real problem here. Because different than the New York Times, it shows me who of my connections are playing. And so I literally am going to have to blur this out because this is real information. These are people that are partners of mine. These are people that work at my company, actually, and also leaders of nonprofits. And so you don't have to think that hard to realize, well, wait a minute, where's the problem here of, let's just say, showing everyone at your organization? Let's say you're the boss of that company. Hey, here are all the people playing games at work during, a time when we assume you're on LinkedIn. Because I'll just be honest, like no one's really chilling on LinkedIn after hours. No offense to the platform. It's a work platform. So here's the thing. On one level, it's everyone at your company can see everyone else at your company who's playing these games potentially and probably at work. Number two, that might actually be brand damaging is, let's just say, folks on your board of directors at a nonprofit or people that are in that network see that, I don't know, let's say the CEO of an important environmental organization or a hunger organization is playing games. And you can go through, I can literally go through here. Let's just see who's playing Queens, 17 of my connections. Okay, let's see who's playing Tango. I've got 17 of my connections. I could go through and actually, in my network, tell exactly who's doing what. And I think that reflects negatively on your reputation. Not that there is anything wrong with playing games at work. Frankly, that is something that is as old as time. Back in the 90s, literally, there were, I think, roughly like 50 million global Windows installations of this game called Minesweeper. All right, kids, back in the day, this was a game. People clicked on these numbers, and Minesweeper was a thing. During its peak, if you roughly calculated the back of a napkin, let's call it about 10 million employees doing about over 80 hours of work, figuring an hourly of $20-ish in mid 90s, it was around $16 billion of lost productivity. And this is something that was written about, joked about, and a lot of IT departments teared their hair out removing things like Minesweeper and Solitaire from computers. So this is not new, games at work. But what is new is the fact that Minesweeper didn't have a little button that emailed and notified everyone in your professional network that you were basically playing games at work. Am I being weird? Or is this like a thing? That might be an issue. So there is a way, because by default, it is showing all of your game activity that you can go in, and if you go to who can see if you've played, and it says connections only, if you click on connections only, then you can switch the default back to, hey, keep it private and don't share my activity. I don't think a lot of people are clicking that button. Maybe you should.